Hello and welcome to the Galeblade News. The prestigious Cass Business School in London is changing its name because of its associations with Sir John Cass, a 17th century merchant and proponent of slavery. The school, part of City University of London, was named after the figure in 2002 after a donation from the foundation that bears his name. The foundation will also change its name as it is no longer appropriate. Both organisations acknowledged the hurt caused by the association. Sir John Cass's foundation was set up as an educational charity in 1748. Its funds work across London, concentrating especially on projects for young people. On the foundation's website, Sir John Cass is described as a merchant and politician whose wealth posthumously was used to create the foundation to deliver educational benefits to disadvantaged children. However, he was also a major figure in the early development of the slave trade and the Atlantic slave economy, directly dealing with slave agents in the African forts and in the Caribbean. The university said on Monday that following broad consultations, its governing council had decided unanimously that continuing to use the name was incompatible with City's values of diversity and inclusion. For now, the business school will be referred to as City Business School, pending consultations about a new name. Julia Palker, head of the City Council, said, "We acknowledge the great pain and hurt caused to members of our city and business school community and to many black people by the association of the school's name with the slave trade. Any continued use of Sir John Cass's name would be seen as condoning someone whose wealth in part derived from the exploitation of slavery. This is incompatible with our values of diversity and inclusivity. We have therefore taken the decision to remove the name." The move comes amid intense debate about the honouring of people with links to the slave trade, which has included some successful demands for the removal of statues. A statue of Edward Colston, a fellow slave trader, was also toppled in Bristol in the wake of international protests following the death of George Floyd in police custody in the US in May. A spokesman for Sir John Cass's foundation said the charity was also now committed to a name change. A spokesman said, "We also continue to celebrate Sir John Cass without explaining or acknowledging his connection to slavery and human exploitation, or the hurt and anger that this has caused amongst our beneficiaries and our community. We recognise, acknowledge, seek to understand and apologise for the public hurt and anger, so let us be clear, we no longer consider the Sir John Cass name appropriate to represent us and the work that we do in this century or in the future." What do you think of this actually changing parts of history and changing some of these foundations' names? From my point of view, actually, this is a bad idea. You're just trying to cleanse history away from where it was. What you're going to do is you're actually going to warp people's mindsets of what happened in the past, and you're just going to just completely forget about it. If you were to go so far, would we start taking the Romans, drag them through the mud? Would we kind of start looking at the Egyptians? Would we start removing various aspects of history just because they're either uncomfortable or they just are not considered appropriate for these politically correct times? Whatever you think, leave your comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe.